Now, the cost of living crisis is a big problem around the world at the moment, with people hurting in different parts of the globe, even here in the UK, where thousands marched in London earlier in June in a demonstration which was called by trade unions to demand the government here makes what they described as a better deal for people struggling to cope with soaring inflation. Yesterday, hundreds of lorries, vans and tractors also across England, Wales and Scotland created roadblocks on major highways to complain about the situation with regards to fuel. Well, the same is being shown by poorer people and people who are suffering from the crunch in countries like Sierra Leone too. When citizens there, though, said they were going out to make their voices heard there yesterday, police deployed across the capital, Freetown, and some of those calling for the protests were arrested and detained, and they included opposition parliamentarians. Well, journalist Umaru Fofana went to speak to the Information Minister, Mohammed Rahman Swari, about it. And he asked first, does the government acknowledge the harsh economic conditions which are making life unbearable, affecting most people there?
Government is absolutely very concerned. We have a situation which everybody knows. It is ignited by a whole lot of factors outside the control of government. For example, you and I are aware that during COVID, oil-producing nations cut down daily supply of petroleum products by about 10 million barrels a day. That has not been restored. Then came the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Russia supplies about 53% of sub-Saharan petroleum product needs. We have all these disruptions. On top of that, add transportation and distribution costs. We are saying, even in the midst of all this, we have not stood arms akimbo. Government has been very engaged with this process. On its instructions, teams are going around the country to raise the awareness of people so that they are able to understand the key and critical challenges of the moment and how that is impacting on commodity prices.
Besides making them understand, what mitigating measures are you putting in place to cushion the effect on the people?
Well, already from January to now, government has given foreign currency support to the tune of $87 million to enable importers to bring this much-needed petroleum products into the country. At the same time, government has been able to do interventions to the tune of 380 billion leones just to ensure that we cushion the impact on our hard-hit population.
How so? Because in terms of the money you're giving to the oil importers, it's not really reflecting on the pump price. It's 120% increase this year alone on the pump price of fuel.
Umaru, you could very well agree with me that when prices were in the region of $66.96 in 2019, for example, we considerably reduced fuel prices to 7,000 leones. Today, they are in the region of 113 thereabout. So this is what necessitated government acquiescing to the increase. Even there, we have had to do a lot of interventions to ensure that the ordinary Sierra Leoneans do not feel very hard hit. In the absence of the subsidies, the interventions, the situation would have been a lot more serious. It would have been a lot more dire. But even in the midst of this situation, government is very concerned that some dealers have chosen to hoard this very essential commodity, thus creating artificial scarcity and to make a kill out of our people in these extremely difficult times. To those people, I like to warn very clearly. Government has given clear instructions. The Petroleum Regulatory Agency and the Ministry of Trade are on a prowl. They will be dipping fuel storages, and where they discover that hoarding is in place, those dealers will face the fullest force of the law.
Now, be that as it may, the anger of people has built up so much that there were protests in town yesterday, ahead of which the leaders of two political parties were arrested and are still in detention. Are you not escalating an already volatile situation?
Well, that's a law and order issue. You understand, like we all know, when this is a democracy, we have created enough space for people to let off steam, to express dissent in very organized and decorous ways. But where you have a group of faceless firebrands who do not want to abide by due process, instigate and incite members of the public to compound an already difficult situation, the law will deal with that. It's a law and order issue.
How do you call that incitement? Basically organizing people to have a civil demonstration, peaceful demonstration to express their grievances. What is inciting about that?
No. So when you do it the way this was done, I mean, the police clearly issued a statement. If a group of citizens are interested in organizing dissent, whether by way of a peaceful demonstration or presenting letters, they are free to come and sit with us so that we can put necessary modalities in place. Because in situations like this, things could go out of hand.
Sierra Leone's Information Minister Mohamed Rahman Souare. And a point of correction, I said 2 parliamentarians were arrested. They were, in fact, or are, in fact, opposition politicians.